They want to start a nationwide preschool. So now they want us to send our children there when they're like 3 and 4 years old, so they can start to indoctrinate them before they get into kindergarten. Somewhere deep in the Ozark woods lurks the two people everyone tries to avoid the most. If you're not careful, they may find you before you find them. All right, we're recording. Hi, guys. Grandma's with me.
Hi.
We're together. Hopefully we got our sound fixed. We got our new studio looking out in the mountains. And so this is our first recording together with our new setup. And we're going to watch Conservative Black Perspective, and his alleged transgender teacher accuses baby of being transphobic for not crying when they are feminine. This, you got to be kidding me. All right,
guys. So I ran across this very disturbing video that I honestly cannot believe it's real. Right? I cannot believe that this is real. However, what we've been saying in regards to the woke progressive left and some of the things that these people push, particularly on children, I have all the reason to believe in the world that it is real. So without further ado, let's watch this video on this transgender person who is claiming that a baby that they take care of for work somehow is transphobic. Take a look.
I've talked about the transphobic baby at work before. I went in a room with him today, and I had my wig on, which I took off now because it's like 9 o'clock at night. He didn't cry. And he was like babbling at me. And I had to look at him and like, do you like me now because we've had a moment, or do you like me now because I have long hair and look more feminine, because then you're more transphobic? And then he started to cry. So that was my answer.
All right, guys. So yeah, that is disturbing. Okay, and the reason why is because it seems like this person, who I believe is a transgender woman, because they said they were wearing a wig at the time. Okay, they have a job where they take care of babies. Allegedly, this person is a teacher. And this baby happened to not be crying this time when this person goes in, right? And this person is saying that, hey, are you not crying now, right? Are you more calm because I'm wearing a wig? Okay, because I look more feminine. And if you aren't crying because I look more feminine, that means that you are transphobic, right? You're transphobic. That's what this person.
maybe the baby's crying because they're just creepy. I mean, I'm just saying.
This is kind of scary because, okay, they started with the high schools, the colleges, the middle schools, elementary. Now we're in daycare. This is a baby.
And you know what the really scary thing is the government, the federal government, is wanting to organize, and they want to start a nationwide preschool. So now they want us to send our children there when they're like 3 and 4 years old, so they can start to indoctrinate them before they get into kindergarten. But they want to have a nationalized preschool and daycare for parents, so parents can work, and the government will take care of your children for you, so you don't have to worry about babysitters, because the government will be there, and they will be regulated, and they will be professionals. But they're wanting to indoctrinate our children before they even get into grade school. So you'll have people like this telling our infants that they're transphobic, and
She trans crazy.
and that they're oppressors because they're white. You're a white male. You're going to grow up to be an evil person. You realize that, don't you? Well, you should realize that, because you're going to grow up to be a white male. You're going to be evil. Somebody decided to cut your dick off right now. Yeah, I mean,
They're glad we don't have any children that young.
Oh, I just, yeah.
They better count their blessings
These people are just,
that we don't have children that young. Cause
whenever
yeah.
whenever anybody is hired and put in a position that they have to deal with children, I think they, by law, have to take a psych exam. And they should have to go through psychological evaluation at least once a year.
Yeah, I do agree.
If they're responsible for caring for our children, they should have to go through a psychological evaluation before they're hired, and then every year, just like taking a drug test, you got to go for your psych exam. Make sure that you're still running down the center of the road, and not hugging a gutter someplace. No, because people can, I mean, life's pressures, people can snap. End up being like my mother, who hated all of the male grandchildren. She treated all of the boys like shit. Doted over the girls, but treated all of the male grandchildren like shit.
Those are grandmas that's gonna find themselves by themselves.
You know, she is. She's by herself. But she'd buy presents for the girls and wouldn't buy squat for the boys because they didn't deserve it. I mean, that kind of, always anything goes wrong, the boys got scolded and the girls were coddled. I mean, that's the reason why when we asked the kids, did you go see your grandma? Yeah, we drove by and waved as we drove by. We honked to let her know that we were outside, waved. You couldn't pay my children to go over and see their grandmother.
Is saying, and again, I just find it fascinating because there are people out there, right? LGBTQ Nation is saying, you right wingers getting upset about this. This is ridiculous. It's a joke. It's simply just a joke. It's not real, right? And I'm like, well, listen, I hope it's a joke, right? I hope it's not real, okay? Now, admittedly, I couldn't find all that much information on this. This is just one of those videos that went viral that people were talking about. But regardless, it's like the fact that we live in a time where I would even have to consider whether or not this is real, whether there actually be a debate about whether or not it's real. That's bad enough,
that's
right?
Disturbing
Because
within itself.
we do live in a society where we do have these teachers.
That's disturbing.
Yeah, the fact that we have to talk about it. You try to ignore stupid, but you can only ignore it for so long. Yeah, we should not have to talk about this stuff. But there was on Saturday Night Live back in this had to have been the 70s.
Oh, I was too young.
There was a character, Pat. There was a character, you could not tell if it was male or female. And the whole skit was everything they did was gender neutral. They talked in a gender neutral. They were dressed gender neutral. If they, it was a man. I don't remember the actor that played the character, but he was a man. But it was Pat, and nobody knew if Pat was male or female.
Oh, wow.
And this was the whole. We'll have to look this up,
okay,
because I question if now that skit would be allowed, because it was making fun of transgender people and the fact that you don't know, and they don't know if they're male or female. So we'll have to look that up.
Okay. But that's before my time.
Yeah, it had to have been in the 70s.
I have no clue.
I did not watch Saturday Night Live, but I think Jean Renee's brother did. So whenever he was over at whenever he came over at Jean Renee's house, this is while we were dating, whenever he'd come to visit Mom, and I happened to be there. It was Saturday because he lived out on his own. He was an adult. Then we ended up watching Saturday Night Live. But I remember this character. So it had to have been in the 70s.
Okay.
That are in these schools that are trying to push this type of ideology on children, right? So who am I to say this isn't real or no, it's automatically a joke? I don't know, right? Because from what we've been saying, my first thought would be to assume that it is real. Okay? Just assume that it is real.
Yeah.
I have a question for other genderqueer educators.
Well, it's the same thing with a police officer. Like that kid that got killed that had the toy gun. He took the red end off the toy gun to make it look more real. Well, he pulled this gun in front of the cops
And he got shot.
and he got shot. Well, are the cops supposed to wait to get shot first? Well, if you talk to the left, yeah, they didn't shoot at you. Why are you shooting at them first? You just come out here assuming that everybody's guilty of crimes and you shooting the place up. Well, if you act like a thug, you're going to be treated like a thug. And when the cops are around and you act like a thug, you're going to get thugged. I mean, it just...
As long as they're not being judged on appearance, but by behavior, yeah, I can agree with that.
But I'm just saying, if you're
That's what I'm
acting...
saying.
Yeah,
if they judge them based on their appearance, just by... No. But if it's, their behavior, then yes, I can agree with that.
Yeah. And I am pro-police, but I have also been harassed by... There are bad cops out there.
I know.
Bad everybody's out there.
We encountered one.
Yeah. So, I mean, but don't condemn everybody. I mean, okay, the black community doesn't want to be condemned because there's a few hood rats that are acting criminally. The whites don't want to you don't judge all whites because there's a few assholes that think that whites are it. Is every group has good and bad. Let weed out the
bad apples and everything.
Yeah. But see, the group should police themselves first, and then if the black community, the white community, the Hispanic, whatever community, the esoteric group, they should police themselves so the esoteric group does not get the bad rap. And that's what's happening now is the group's getting judged. Well, the group should be policing itself. The group allows this shit to happen. So if the group allows it to happen, then the group's going to be treated like that. Just like what pisses off the white population or white the Caucasian esoteric group is we try to police ourselves when it comes to the white supremacists. We denounce them. They don't act like that when they're around us.
No, because you're white.
Yeah, but a white supremacist comes up to another white person, they know not to flip their mouth unless they're sure that the other white person's on board with them. Because like if a white supremacist comes up to me and flips his lip, I'll put him out. I don't put up with that shit. No. And most of the white community is that way. We will put them in their place. We do not see that happening in the black community.
In some places it does. It's not a universal thing, but in some instances it's that.
And see, the white...
Because I know I do it.
Yeah,
I know I do it.
But see, the white community, a majority of the white community comes down hard on the white supremacists. The neo-Nazis, the skinheads, we come down hard on them because, no, you're giving us a bad name. We do not see the majority of the black community coming down hard on the thugs, because most of the black community, it appears from this side of the fence, it appears that most of the black community supports that. There's a minority few like you that are, no, this is stupid shit, but it seems like the majority want to emulate it, or at least they're putting the thumbs up. Yeah, I wished I could live like that. I wished I could do that. I wished I could be free.
I wouldn't say that. I'd say in certain areas, yes, like California, New York, certain areas like that, yes, that's a big thing. The thug mentality, that whole kick. But you get to them.
Well, Lawton, Oklahoma. Lawton, Oklahoma was the worst example in the entire state of Oklahoma.
But if you get to like the a lot more of the black families that live in suburbia and rural areas and stuff like that, don't act like that.
Yeah, no.
They do not.
But
them big cities and fast life, that's them.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I said, in Oklahoma, if you
Oklahoma and Tulsa. Oklahoma, hold on. It's Lawton, Tulsa, and OKC.
Yeah, but Lawton was first.
The big cities.
Well, Lawton is smaller than the other three.
But you need to understand, Lawton has that big ass military
the
base.
military base, yeah.
It has that big ass military base.
But why would that influence
Because
a
you have
negative?
because you have a lot of those soldiers, black, white, Hispanic, whatever. They're from all parts of the United States.
Oh, and they got their family.
And they bring that shit with them.
But I thought you were saying that the soldier is responsible for their
His
family's
dependents.
behavior.
Yes.
So, when you and your sister were enlisted together, if your sister misbehaved,
Not me.
you
She wasn't my dependent.
oh, so it's only dependents.
The dependent. It would be if I was in the military, I would be responsible for my spouse and my children.
So if they're acting like an ass,
Then I'm gonna get called to the carpet.
and you can
That's
actually be penalized and not promoted or
Yes.
demoted
Yes.
or even booted out.
I mean, you can even get in trouble for bouncing checks. Seriously.
So no, like I said, I just but I never.
So it's not my cousins or aunties or it's the people that hold the ID card up under my name.
Yeah. Well, see, the military expects everybody to police themselves.
Like Daddy.
Yeah.
Okay, like with Daddy. When Daddy was in the military, the 4 kids and my mom fell up under Dad. So when we did some fucked up shit, especially on post or MPs got called, yeah, Daddy caught the brunt of that. Like with my brother, my daddy caught the brunt of that. Because we lived in base housing.
Yeah.
So yeah, Daddy caught the brunt of that.
Up until he become Master Chief.
Up until he got pissed off. And put a stop to shit. Yes.
Well, it's just like your brother, Clay, yanked all the school. Your son had a full ride scholarship to.
No, not a full ride. He just used his dad's.
Well,
gas
it might
bill.
be his dad was paying.
Yeah,
for
but see,
it.
that wasn't had nothing to do with him
No,
getting in
but it's
trouble
the
with the
same.
military.
His
He
son.
took the advantages from him.
His son started playing the ass, and your brother just called up and yanked all his funding away from it, and now the kid couldn't go to school unless he paid for it himself.
Pretty much.
And he was going to a high-dollar school.
I ain't sure.
I was wanting to say MIT, but that doesn't.
I don't know. I'm not sure what school he
It
went
was
to.
one of the good schools.
Boy's he's smart as a tack. I mean, he's sharp as a tack. I mean, that boy is smart.
And just lazy.
Freakishly smart.
Just lazy.
Yeah, we have a couple of those
Yeah.
that are freakishly smart,
And
but
lazy.
extremely lazy.
Yeah.
We have a couple of those.
There's what?
I have a nephew, a brother. Yeah. We have a couple of them. Yeah.
We've got children that are what way? We won't name them. Let them sort themselves out. Next family reunion, they're all going to be looking at each other. Were they talking about you? And see, you can identify the ones because they're the ones that are looking to see who's been talked about. Everybody knows who's being talked about except for the person who's wondering who's being talked about.
That's generally the guilty person.
How did you rabbit hole?
I went down that rabbit hole with you.
You rabbit hole.
I am just finishing up my teaching degree, and I was wondering how you all respond when students or parents misgender you in a way that doesn't turn into a power struggle. Because when I've had students misgender me so far, I don't know how to respond. And usually when I correct them, they just ignore it.
Main reason for me about why having queer representation and queer educators and queer education in the classroom from a young age is so that these kids will grow up to either be wonderful and accepting allies who have had this normalized in their lives from a young age. If you normalize queerness from a young age, they're more likely to be more accepting and understanding. And if they do not grow up to be good allies, I hope that those kids who later on realize that they are queer love themselves and are able to express themselves and be proud of who they are. That these kids are able to see people like them in their lives and say, hey, that person's just like me, and it's okay to be me. That is the main reason for me about why this is so important. Thank you for your question.
So I found out that I'm not allowed to tell students that I'm gay because it could be seen as supporting a single political party and it could be seen as a political issue. So if anybody asks, I just really like rainbows. Like, I just really like rainbows. Like, I really like rainbows. No politics in Miss Leia's classroom. She just really likes rainbows.
No.
Rainbow duct tape? That's just because I really like rainbows. Rainbows aren't political. Not at all. Rainbows are just colorful and fun. It's not a political thing at all. It's just that I really like rainbows.
See, I'd be
What?
firing
This? This isn't political. This is just that I really like rainbows.
Because they obviously want to push this on children.
Yeah.
Why not go as far as to push it on babies? Right? Why not go as far as to try to label babies transphobic that don't react the way that you want them to when it comes to how you orient yourself? Right? Why not? Why not? Right? The earlier you get them, the easier it is to indoctrinate. And obviously people are aware of this. They're aware of this. That's why there's such a big movement by these teachers to try to get kids exposed to this stuff at an early age, as early as possible. Again, that's why you have so many teachers infiltrating these schools with this ideology. They care more about teaching this ideology than they do actually the subject that they're hired to teach. Yeah, that's why that's happening, because they understand how susceptible kids are to this type of information. They know that. So again, when people on the left want to say, oh, the right's getting upset for nothing. No, regardless of whether or not the video is real or fake, which we don't have any evidence to suggest that it's not fake, right? We don't have any evidence to suggest that it's not real, or that this person is joking, or that it is purely satirical.
We
We have no evidence
more inclined to
whatsoever.
believe that it's true.
But it's true. If it wasn't true,
That's what I'm saying. I mean, with the way society is going and the way they're trying to shove this stuff down people's throat, it's you have. Yeah, it's hard to believe it's not true.
no, it is.
It's hard
It
to believe
is.
it's
and
not
they all
true.
have an agenda. And the reason why these people want to become teachers is because it's understood that a child's mind is moldable. So
Malleable.
we will malleable. You know, we'll get them as young as possible, and then we'll make sure that they'll grow up to be good adult allies.
My babies will be homeschooled.
Yeah.
They would not enter public school for shit. Nope, sorry. They would be homeschooled. Nope, because I would go to jail. I would go to jail. I have no qualms. No, and I used to teach. That's wrong.
So we both did.
That's
Yeah.
wrong. That is wrong. You are hired to teach a subject,
You know, you're not.
and nowhere in the curriculum is transgender studies in there.
No. You know, social studies did not start until junior high. We did not have social studies in grade school. In junior high, we had a social studies class, and we had a social studies teacher that was trained to teach social studies.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I know.
so I mean, no, it's
However, to know how serious this person is. What we know is what the person said. But again, regardless, the point is the same. The point is that this is what is happening in our schools. And again, we have teachers out there that are more concerned about pushing this ideology on children rather than actually doing their jobs. Again, and this is happening all over the country. Okay, it's happening all over the country. I mean, we've done stories about how teachers have changed the name of clubs in order to trick students and parents into letting their kids be a part of clubs that are LGBTQ oriented, right? Letting them be in these clubs. And then next thing you know, these teachers are trying to change students' gender identities, okay, and their pronouns and their names and identities and all types of stuff. That's what's happening. That's exactly what's happening. So yeah, when people on the right get outraged when they see stuff like this, is because this seems to be the next step. It seems to be reasonable to come to the conclusion that this is probably real, considering what we've seen before, right? Considering what we've seen before. We know that a lot of these activists, they want to get the kids as early as possible. That's why a lot of these activists are in schools where kids are. Who am I
What I just
to
said.
not believe that somebody is trying to accuse babies of being transphobic, right? Just because they don't cry when somebody's wearing a wig. Seems plausible to me, right? Seems plausible to me that there are people out there that think that babies are probably transphobic based on.
That baby might be used to seeing long hair, and it's comforting. His mom might have long hair.
It could be that the person is a creepy person, and they had this predetermined idea in their head that if I put this wig on and act feminine, that this child will be comfortable. So they had a goal to prove.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they were trying to prove their hypothesis. So, you know, even subconsciously, they're doing what they can
to influence the result.
She could have been holding that baby and rubbing its back. You know, see, you're liking me now because I'm like this, right? Where the rest of the time she obviously has a problem with this child. So then she picks this child up in a way that this child does not feel secure, and this person's holding this child. You're just really transphobic. I don't know why I have to think, you know, and just constantly, well, the baby's afraid of this child, doesn't know why, but this person is scary. You know, you've seen people that can walk up to any baby whatsoever, and the baby just instantly starts crying. I've known people like that. I've known Robin Lynn loved everybody when she was a baby. She never met a stranger. But there was one person. We were in the grocery store, and this lady walked up, you know, oh, look at and Robin just started crying and screaming like she had seen Satan himself. And you know, Jean Renee being, oh, that's okay. She's just really put off by strangers. So, you know, it's not you. But we walked off and go, that woman must be really creepy, because it just, yeah, Robin was just like, no! And she was a baby. Babies can tell creepy people.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that pedophiles have to give them candy? If they were nice people, the kids would go willingly, but they got to give them candy because they know they're creepy.
How they react to how people look. Okay, I don't think it's crazy to make that assumption that there are people out there like that. I'm just saying. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.
Okay.
That's one thing I like about Hazy. That girl cautious with everybody.
Oh yeah.
She does not just automatically like people.
Yeah. No.
She's sweet. Once she get to know you, she's really friendly. But other than that, she's very standoffish.
She's like her grandpa. She just does not trust anybody.
She is very standoffish.
Everybody's up to something.
I freaking love it.
Somebody go to kidnap that girl when they even start walking up towards her.
One grandbaby that scared me, but she's not like that anymore. Star. That chick loved everybody. When she was a little toddler, she loved everybody. Somebody could have said, come on, Star, come with me, if they knew her name, and she would happily walk her butt off. She was super friendly. No. Hazy, back up. Back up. She don't like everybody, and I love that. But now Star and all them, Hazy, Star, Hazy, Faith, Messiah, King, yeah, they're okay. They okay. They're not the super friendly walk off with everybody. Yeah, no.
Well, they're growing and learning.
Yeah, it was a good thing.
All right. Well, anyway, let's wrap this up.
I just hope Tika continues to homeschool them for her.
Well, I think once things are going, they will for a while at least.
Because she's
and I think
homeschooled.
when they realize the benefits of it, that they won't even put them back.
Yeah, good. This is their second year homeschooling. Started their second year homeschooling.
Once you started this and got a routine, and you might as well keep it going. You know, because as far as I'm concerned, when your parents and your children are at home, your children's your life should revolve around your children. Yeah. So Yeah. Anyway.
until they're grown.
Yeah. Well, I said when they're still,
Nah.
when they're still juveniles, when they're still legally your responsibility. All right, we're gonna wrap this up, guys. We love you. Hope everything's going great. And remember, enjoy how bad it is today, because it'll be worse tomorrow.
Yep.